Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there. Welcome to New Life Live. Steve Arterburn here, joining me, Dr. Sheri, Keffer, and Alice Benton. How you doing, Sheri?
We're doing great. I'm doing good.
Intimate Deception is the name of her book, and you can get that at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, along with a whole lot of other wonderful things. Well, this is the very first day of May, National Mental Health Awareness Month, and they're going to try to bring in a host that has mental health, and so to have an example there. Anyway, all month long, we're going to do some great values, give you some great values on sale for resources that address mental health. You can go to newlife.com and it'll just say sale there, and you can get that. But I cannot think of a time where more people are aware of mental health, or I should say the lack thereof, than during this time of isolation. It really has, it's brought out the best in some people, but for more than not, I mean, it's really been a tough time for a lot of folks.
It's so weird. You say that, Steve, and I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but a couple weeks ago, I was in our garage, and, you know, it's a long story, but bottom line, I was standing there in the midst of some chaos, and I looked at Kyle, and I just started crying, and I just said, I just want my mommy. And I'm bawling. I'm bawling. And I grew up in a home where there was severe mental illness. So even that cry out for I want my mommy was like, it wasn't even something that could be met when I was growing up. But what I discovered about myself is there is stuff that's leaking out right now that I normally kind of keep a lid on. And so it's made me more aware. It's made me reach out to my friends. It's made me bring my shame first and start having conversations and letting people know about that stuff instead of hiding it. Like, it's leaking out. So why would I want to put it under a bushel and hide it again? It's been amazing to share it and find love there in it through this time. I like
hearing that.
Well, and you remind us that we need to be aware of our emotions, and then we need to take action to care for ourselves. Emotional regulation is a top necessity right now, as we're stuck together and we're all leaking a little bit here and there. But there are ways to take care of the leaks, and reaching out to a friend and talking about what we're feeling is one of the best, most effective ways to handle the leaks.
And just the fact that, you know, the Bible tells us God was so rich in mercy to us. This is the time for us to be like God and be rich in mercy to the people that we love or the people that we're close to. Well, I tell you what, let's do. Why don't we go to the phones? Just start right off here with Mary from Kearney, Nebraska, I believe it is. And she watches us and listens to us on Facebook. Hi there. How are you, Mary?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, and glad to be on here with Sheri and Alice and you. How could we help you today?
Well, I had something come up recently, and I'm older, but it had come up earlier in my life, and I never really dealt with it. Maybe I should tell you first. I listen. Excuse me. I listened to New Life for years and years on the radio, and have a lot of your books, and have been exposed to this, but there were other issues I was dealing with at that time. Anyway, now I'm finding that I think I felt like I wasn't wanted by my parents, because my mom told me that they had, and my mom's dead now, but she was OCD personality disorder. And so they had a girl, a boy, a girl, and then she told me they wanted a boy, and that's how I got.
Okay, hold on. We're going to help you. Got to go to this break. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
after I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop can be a trip to the Sexual Addiction Emergency Room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, Steve Arterburn here, and we're talking with Mary. I say we, Dr. Alice Benton, Dr. Sheri Keffer. So, Mary, your parents, they say, we wish you had been a boy.
Yeah, my mom told me that because I talked to her about it, and anyway, so she said, yeah, we expected a boy, and this is 1951. You know, they had no way of knowing, but
yeah.
Anyway,
and so let me ask you this: a lot of people kind of are hoping for one gender or the other, but she says that. How did that play out? Was it a radical rejection of you as a girl? I know of people that if they wanted one gender and they got the other, they dressed them up like the gender they wanted. What, did they do anything overtly cruel or weird or strange because of this?
No, never. I don't recall anything like that. I mean, my brother says, yeah, she forgot to tell you that she really wanted you, you know, as a girl.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's really tough.
You know, it is so hurtful. It's the words people say.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, in a very weird, twisted way, Mary, this makes sense to me. Because on top of your mom's heart, which she has in her chest, she's got this brain that drove her behavior. OCD, you know, people also, on the other side of being with someone who has OCD, can be hard at times because their brain is about order. And so here she was, very simply, girl, boy, boy. Like duck, 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 duck. And the fact that the God-given, ordained person that you are, coming from the sperm and the egg, in a very beautiful way, got knit in the womb, just like Psalms talks about. And it messed up her data points, came to you in a way that was really harmful. It really wasn't about you as much as it was about that it messed up her data. Girl, boy, girl, boy. But in her telling you that, it caused a wound, which automatically would make you feel like I'm a disappointment. I'm not what I was supposed to be. But you're ordained in what you were supposed to be. It just didn't match with your mom's OCD. Does any of that make sense to you?
Yeah. And I didn't really know she was OCD until, you know, she was like 80 or 90. I mean, she lived to be almost 94, and I didn't get that until then. I mean, we didn't really know it. We didn't know it until much later. And
totally. You lived with the perfectionism. You lived with things having to be a certain way. You lived with her oppositional pushbacks. All of that. But you didn't realize that your birth story was influenced by her OCD too. And so this is my question to you. What part of you is having a hard time letting go of her miscalculation, her brain's way of trying to organize the type of gender. That's what her brain did. But what part of you is still holding on to that in light of your identity?
Well, I don't know. I know I don't have the personality disorder, but I do have some OCD tendencies, but it's not like she was, you know.
Right.
And I had to work through a lot of that over the last 20 years, but I don't know. It's the
Yeah,
and of course she was the one in the family. My dad took a secondary. She ran everything.
Of course she did.
Everything.
So what should Mary do?
Well,
What do you think Mary would be helpful for Mary to be the best Mary, to change the feeling, the sense of she feels like she wasn't wanted her whole life. What a horrible thing to feel.
Mary, I think you have to figure out the answer to Sheri's question, because there is a young part of you, we call it an inner child sometimes, that did not get what that child needed from your mother. You needed the affirmation and the love that she was not able to give you well. And so when that feeling of loss or grief or anger towards your mom comes up, I want you to try to put an age to it. It's probably pretty young, of how young you feel on the inside when you feel unwanted. And that part of you will need to receive love and will need to be told and come to believe that it is wanted and it is valued, that you are wanted and valued. And so God helps heal those wounds by putting us into a spiritual family if we'll let him and if we'll seek it out as an adult. And people around you can love that young part of you that didn't receive what she needed from her mom.
And in addition, I love what you're saying, Alice. So wise. In addition to that, having been married to an addict who was acting out, I believed that I'm not enough. And so I had to do my own work to get into my truth, because my identity was coming from what he did. You have the same thing going on. Your identity is coming from what her brain did. And so I now believe that I'm enough. And so follow Alice's recommendations. Get into your own work. Figure out whatever it is, whatever it takes to get your truth back on, because that is who you are. We are not defined by somebody else, what they do or what they say.
Yeah. You know, Mary, I want to say this. I think one of the worst sins, you could even call it, that a parent can ever commit is to have so much pride that they will not get help for their problem, that they think either they don't need it, or this is as good as it gets, or I don't want to look weak, or I don't want the court system to know I ever sought help. For whatever reason, what a selfish and prideful thing when you have something like obsessive compulsive disorder, and nothing can ever be perfect enough. No child can ever be just right. And you're always looking for things to be orderly enough for your mind to finally settle down and be at peace. When somebody in that situation doesn't get them, and the help is so powerful. There are people that are driven by ritual, OCD ritual. They go in to see a psychiatrist, and he says, we're just going to try this medication. Has nothing to do with them needing to deal with past stuff or whatever. Their brain has flipped into a function, a malfunction, a defective way of being. They take this medication, their life is different forever. It's bizarre. It doesn't always happen that way, but it's miraculous. There are people that are schizophrenic, and they finally get the help they need, and they commit to one thing only. I am never going to stop taking this medication. And their lives are more sane and happier and healthier than people that don't have schizophrenia, because they make that commitment to take this medication. We don't like to see people on medication that don't need it, but certain things do. And OCD, things like this, there are all sorts of things that we can do to lessen it, but sometimes it's medication. Why am I saying this? I can't change Mary's mother, but you may be one of those people, and you've noticed that in the stress of the virus, you're really OCD. You're really, really driven in certain ways, and you didn't know how bad it was. Get the help. Don't inflict this on other people. Let me read you a quote. This is from James Garin, and he says this. He said, all of us humans, we have a need for meaning and purpose. But when we don't feel that purpose, or we're not living in a meaningful relationship, we not only feel adrift in the universe, but we retreat into some really unhealthy stuff. And that unhealthy stuff not only causes us to suffer, but all those around us suffer also. What is it that's standing in the way of me feeling purpose and meaning? That's what we have to address. And it could be a malfunctioning brain. It could be unresolved bitterness, resentment, whatever it is. We've got to get the help, or we are really inflicting a lot of pain on a lot of people that doesn't need to be there. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you want some help, there's telehelp. There's telehealth, teletherapy. Tell a friend. You can go online. You can do it Zoom. You can do it phone. Never so many options. We're going to Kathy, Savannah, Georgia. WTRJ is the station. Hi there. How are you?
Fabulous. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
So I read a lot of books. I read Sheri's book, and it was just absolutely amazing to me. It gave me so much validation and so much hope and just great information, because I've never really read any book like that before. I've read lots of other Christian books, but that just was exactly where I was and am. And so I want to thank her so much for that book, because I just have highlighted it and read it over and over again just to get some peace of mind.
Good for you.
Great. Glad to hear it. What's the question today?
Yeah. Well, obviously my husband has been addicted to porn we've been married, it'll be 21 years. And of course, we only unfortunately dated for 5 months before we got married. So I didn't know all what I was getting into necessarily with the porn and of course prostitutes and such. So he's been to tons of counseling, tons of workshops. We're a Christian couple. I'm basically tired of it, like physically, emotionally, beat up, just can't wrap my head around it anymore. And we have kids at home. Is the only reason I stayed this long. But now 19 and almost 18, I feel like I'm just wiped out. And the anger and the negativity against the children, too, is just exhausting.
Yeah, of course.
And Kathy,
So what's the question?
Kathy, is your husband continuing in his addictive behavior despite all the counseling and help?
Yes. I can't catch him as well, and I really don't even care anymore because I'm too tired. But everything, like you said, which I love, is everything's telling on him. He says the right things, so he tends to be a certain way, and then all the behaviors are the same. Go to room, close the door, leave in the middle of the night, constantly.
Okay,
anger.
so what have you done? What have you done so far to either get help for him or for yourself?
So for years, he's been to men's counseling. We have a great Christian organization here. He'll go to men's groups. He's done mission work. We've counseled together. They always release me and tell him to come back. He doesn't want to come back because he doesn't want to face the truth and doesn't want to own whatever the woundedness. I keep asking him, I just want you to be happy. Like, what makes you crave this, or why? He keeps saying God made him that way, which is not true.
Okay.
So for me, he just won't acknowledge it, and he'll lie and say he's not doing it, but all his behaviors show he is.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I have one word for you that I can hear is absolutely needed for both of you too. And the word is sobriety. Right? There's a difference between recovery and sobriety. Somebody can be in quote unquote recovery and going to meetings and, kind of showing up and then leaving and showing up and leaving. But that is not the goal of getting your arms around a porn addiction or sexual compulsivity. The goal is sobriety. Because until you all, and until he finds his path to sobriety, sobriety is, so when's the last day since you sexually acted out with yourself or anybody else? And
He'll say, when I ask that, he gets mad and he says, a while. I don't know if a while means 5 minutes or 10 years.
No, you know what? The guys that come through Every Man's Battle, the guys that get into an SA group and they are in a 12-step process of recovery, the guys that are doing the work can tell you exactly the day that they're sober, because they get a chip and they'll tell you, I am 15 days sober, I am 3 months sober, I'm 2.5 years sober. They know that date. It's like a wedding date. It's an anniversary date.
Gotta go to a break. We will be right back. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
For years, all I did was focus on my husband, and my needs were unmet because of his sexual addiction. The counselors focused on him, and all the books I read were about him and how to help him.
My name is Sheri Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
This weekend gives me permission to now focus on me.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
I am so thankful to New Life for giving me what I know now is going to be a new life.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas June 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. We're talking with Kathy, husband, long time, into sexual addiction, pornography, unfaithful. They've been married a long time, and now she's saying, I think I'm done. Sheri, you were talking with Kathy.
Yeah, you remind me of a part of my life, Kathy, having also lived with a sexual addict. And during a moment of confrontation by a pastor who looked at Connor and looked at myself, and, you know, Connor was upset, he was crying, and then the pastor looked at me, and I want you to know this is a very respected person. But he said to me, Sheri, what is wrong with you? Why are you allowing this to continue? Now, that moment was a brick falling on my head, because I'd been kind of pointing the finger at him and tolerating the intolerable, and I had been allowing a lot of stuff to continue happening. I was in my own dis-ease. I was in betrayal blindness, which is things are happening, but I'm not looking at it because I had all these ulterior motives to keep our house intact, to keep my world intact. But it wasn't until he said that to me that I woke up, and I had to figure out what I needed to do to make this my biggest priority, to set boundaries, to find safety, to not enable anymore, to not tolerate, to find my voice. I mean, this is what we have to do, Kathy, because if we just roll over, if we just keep trying to find out what they're doing, it's passive. It's not powerful. So what are you doing to find your power in light of drawing a boundary of safety to protect
Well, what
yourself?
should she do? What
Well-
should she do?
well,
Just tell her.
I wish you would say to your husband, I'm losing hope. And I need to start receiving proof of change about your sobriety and your commitment to our marriage and to getting help rather than just hearing the words. So I need to be receiving feedback from a therapist that you're seeing every week who is a sex addiction expert. And we're going to need to do a lie detector test because I can't believe your words and I want to be able to. And I need you to be in an ongoing men's group showing me proof that you're going and you're staying over time. That's what will give me hope. Are you willing to do that?
And if these 3 things don't happen, then I will have to there'll be some consequences, right? It may mean that we might not be living under the same roof. It may mean that I may need to meet with somebody and find out how we can do a therapeutic separation until you face this head on. Because I'm done. I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. So I need to see an action step, or I'm going to take an action step.
Okay, so I think so often we aren't truly believers in addiction when it comes to sexual behavior. I don't think we fully understand the power that addiction, it has a life of its own. It's called cunning and baffling. And it asks for a little bit more of the addict, and the addict asks a little bit more from everyone around them. It sucks everybody into it, and it confuses people. It robs you of rational thinking. It plunders your character and distorts everything. It takes away all dignity of the people around it. And you think, well, maybe I'll do this or that. You think you've got the power. It would be like literally King Kong living in your home, and you think, I'll just get it to do this, or I'll just suggest this. But anybody that thinks they have in and of themselves on their own the power to overcome another person's addiction or your own, you're just fooling yourself. People have proven it over and over again. It's progressive. It gets worse, and it requires more and more, and it destroys, and it arrests everything. It disintegrates. It sucks the life out of everything, and the stuff it doesn't, it wipes it out. That's what we're dealing with here with sexual addiction. That's why you need help. What kind of help do you need? You need support from either a good, solid Christian counselor or a great support group like Al-Anon or Sex-Anon, codependency group or something. So you stay sane through this and you admit, I am powerless over that person's addiction, but I am not helpless. The more powerful you think you are over it, the more helpless you prove you are. When you say, I'm powerless over it on my own and I get the help, all of a sudden I can do something that I never thought possible. But you can live year after year and just let this thing eat you alive while your children watch year after year. And so much opportunity is lost. If you're a sex addict, you need to get help. If you're married to a sex addict, you need to get help. It's huge. It's cunning, baffling. It's exhausting. It's exhausting all resources until somebody says, I'm fooling myself. I'm not powerful enough to stop this. But if I'll reach out and get some help, everything could be different. So whatever side you're on, addict, or on the way to being an addict, or living with someone, you need to get some help. And not getting help is such a prideful worship of yourself, believing in your power versus what God can do. And everybody that recovers says, I can't do this, God can. I surrender, I let him. That's what we want for you to do. We'll be back after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. So the hope is in getting the help, and the hell, living the earthly hell, is trying to fix it yourself. Playing God, trying to manipulate all this stuff. What a great relief when you finally get some help. I've had help all my life. Larry Sonnenberg he's come along here. How long has it been, Larry? How long have we it's over a decade now.
Yeah, I'm in my 17th year.
17 years working with me. Wow. And
didn't have a gray hair on my head when I started.
No, not any, nor did I. Anyway, talk to us about, first day of May. We're through April. I'd like to not go through an April like that again. But anyway, we had some good things to happen.
Yeah, we did.
But May.
And last week we met with some donors and challenged them to make a gift that we could pull together, and challenged everybody listening to make a gift to match what they have pulled together. And this is a recorded program, so I don't have the final number today, because this is recorded right before that gathering.
Mm-hmm.
But I know we have a minimum of $221,000.
What?
That we need to be matched.
$221 that people are giving to New Life in the midst of the coronavirus.
Yes, ma'am. And
God
bless them.
I know, that's incredible.
Yeah. So, and I think on Monday, which was 4 days ago, the amount will be bigger, because we're meeting on Saturday, and some folks haven't yet given.
Larry, that's so
God bless
amazing.
Everybody who has given, and if you haven't, if you can, would you make a gift to New Life? And every dollar you give will be doubled, and we will use that money as it comes in. That money is sitting in a fund, and we can't take it until you give, and we can. If you give $100 today, we'll pull $100 out, and we'll have $200 to use. And
the astounding thing is how many folks are such faithful givers to New Life. No matter what's going on in the world, they are so grateful for what's happened in their life, and they're really wanting people to get the help that they need, and they help us, and it's just astounding, and I'm grateful to every single one of them. And if you're not one of them, come join us. And when you get involved in being part of the giving family of New Life, it really transforms you, and you're just so happy when somebody gets help. And just like when we did our first Every Man's Battle virtual Zoom Every Man's Battle meeting, and we had never done this before, and it just transform these guys. It's so powerful, and people have stood by us through all of this and helped, and we'd love for some new ones to come on. And $30 a month, you become part of Club New Life. It really is our sustaining group of folks, and we'd love for you to do it.
And
to join us up.
Steve, having a matching gift like this means that we can continue to help people. You know, this COVID thing just keeps going, it seems. And someday it's going to slow down. We'll do things a little more differently than we are now. But we want to help you. So call us, whatever it is, whatever you're uncomfortable with, whatever you're struggling with, whatever your pain is, related to COVID or not, just let us help you. Give us a call at 800-NEW-LIFE.
Yeah, and people make it a matching gift because they want to motivate other people to give, and so please honor their gift and the motivation, and maybe one day you'll be giving, hoping somebody will match it also. The number is 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's the number. Thank you, Larry, for that. Really appreciate that. Let's go back to the phones. And how about we talk with, let's go right here and talk with, is it Virtue? I'm having a hard time reading today. Virtue, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Listen on the internet. Hi there, how are you? Hello, Virtue. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Okay, it's really close to me, and so all these other calls aren't working, but, I mean, they did work, but this one isn't. Well, we'll put them on hold here, and how about we go to Cynthia from Houston, Texas. Hi, Cynthia. How are you today?
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I have a question about, I have a recently widowed friend, and her daughter, even before her husband passed away, moved into their house with all their adult children, and she's been very abusive to my friend. And emotionally abusive. And like yesterday, and she does it in front of me. Like yesterday when I called her just to check on her, she was saying how that she would like a new Sunday school book because the new one's come out next month. And her daughter works at the church. She said, oh, yeah, they came in. And she says, I would like to get one. And she went on and on and on about how her mother cannot get one, and so quit it. They're not going to give her one. You know, it's like in a very abusive way. And like the other day, one of the sons went outside to smoke, and she hadn't seen him for a while. She said, where's my grandson? Don't you know he went out to smoke it on and on and on. She can't say anything, ask any questions without being harassed for being degraded for 5 minutes.
So what's the question for us then? What do you want us to help you with?
Well, my question is, I know before God, what I need to do is go and confront the daughter. So I don't want to go and confront. I know she's very angry because her husband left her, too. So I know she's very angry about that, but I don't want to go and confront her without knowing what to say and be wise about it, because it can make a big blow up in our whole community and church.
Well, do you have somebody that could go with you when you do that, so it's not just you on your own? Because that could be dangerous or volatile.
I know.
Have any can help you?
The thing, because of the coronavirus thing, you know, and they're not letting her go anywhere because she's older. So she's just stuck in there in that abuse. And her self-image is going lower and lower every time I talk to her.
All right, so we definitely get the picture. Let's see when we talk with Sheri and Alice, what they're thinking should be done, needs to be done. Horrible situation.
So you know what's interesting, Cynthia? First off, it's really painful to hear about this because it's really clear on how her daughter is demeaning and controlling, trying to control her, demeaning her, being disrespectful. But this is the thing that I think is happening in you as you're getting triggered to want to rescue her instead of coming alongside of her and helping your friend, the mom, find her voice to be able to push back.
Well, I started doing the Boundaries book study with her.
Okay, good for you.
I don't go over, because what if I take the coronavirus to her? Like I went to the grocery
But
store
you guys,
just now.
y'all could do a Zoom call where Okay, go ahead.
Her phone isn't that good. Her phone isn't that good, and my internet isn't that good.
Okay. Well, you could drop a book off, right? And you guys could be on the phone and do the study. You actually could go over, and as long as you guys are sitting outside and there's 6 feet between you,
there you go.
You guys could just chat about the Boundaries book together, because this is the thing. And I'm not saying what not to do. I'm just saying, if you go over confront, do you know what she's going to do? She's going to vilify you. You'll be eaten alive.
I know.
Okay. So
I know.
I know. So good. That's wisdom. The problem is that the mom is letting her. She's in the victim position. She's got learned helplessness with her daughter. And so her daughter is not going to stop until her mom starts saying, "Ow, that hurts. Ow, that just hurt. What you said is breaking my heart. Don't do that." She has got to find her voice. And you can be a great friend to help her figure out why she doesn't have it.
You could also be a friend by telling the mother that she needs to get some help herself to remain strong or get strong. Alice, you have a thought here?
I have. Well, Cynthia, I think you can help empower your friend, as Sheri is pointing out, by describing what you see to your friend, asking her what she wants you to do, and offer her these different options, but let her choose. And it's so hard if we watch a friend and she's choosing to allow her family to treat her this way. But you can lay out these different options and let her pick which one she's willing to let you do. And I'd further Sheri's example to say, offer to role play what you're learning from the book, where you can show her how you might confront the daughter if you were the mother, and you might play the daughter for her so that she can practice this conversation with you in the safety of your friendship before she takes it to the daughter. You might also have to consider, if she's over 65 and the abuse is ongoing and she won't do anything about it, Adult Protective Services can be a helpful resource if she's being abused and she can't stop the abuse.
Because really, this daughter may need a one-way ticket out of her house right now. And if that mom feels like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I'm being bullied by my own daughter, but I can't ask her to leave. Guess what? She's allowing the abuse to continue, right? This daughter isn't helping. She's hurting her. And so that may be the message that needs to be communicated.
So sad. We'll be right back right after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop can be a trip to the Sexual Addiction Emergency Room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. So many great things coming up in 9 days. Every man's battle. Now, if you didn't hear me talk about how powerful sexual addiction is, or if you did and you didn't listen, rewind. You need to get the help. I hope you will. It'll change everything for you and the people that love you. This is our last caller. It's Tina, Sherman Oaks, California, listens on KKLA. Tina, how are you today? What's going on in your life?
Hi, I'm doing good. Am I having a blessed day?
Good.
I have a question. I'm a recovering alcoholic, drug addict. I have been off and on for the last 20 years, and that's about 2 years clean and sober now.
Woohoo!
And in the last 6 months, last 6 months, I had a really strong urge for God in my life, and I followed it and found a good church, and I've been engaged for like a year to a man, but we were living together. So in my Bible studies, coming up to my baptism, I just got baptized on Sunday. I just received the Holy Spirit Sunday.
Awesome.
And so, thanks. In the days during my Bible study, they let me know and enlightened me that living in sin is a huge sin against God. And so, even though we were engaged, I felt because he had been accusing me of sleeping with people at work, and it was so crazy. I have never cheated on him.
All right, so we're going to have to get to the question here really quick. You've made some.
I left him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I left him. I got my own apartment because he wasn't on board to get baptized, and I want a man in my life that's not going to be accusing me and who is righteous. And now all he's doing is calling me. I don't know if like.
Well, you don't have to tell us anything like that. The name. So, what's the question for us? This guy is not healthy for you. What's the question?
The question is, I guess that's all. It's just been so long, and I haven't had anybody but him in my life for the last 4 years. Now I have some ladies from the church, but it's just so hard letting go. I know that's what I have to do, let go.
Well, you're our hero, because few people are willing to step away from that when they realize the truth that you realized. But what really emphasizes that you did the right thing is how he's been treating you since you left. That he's revealing an even worse side of himself. He's verbally being abusive, mistreating you.
Yeah.
Tina.
Well,
Tina.
Yeah.
I don't know why you think that you ever deserved a guy like this. I feel really bad about that. But this isn't a good guy, is he? Accuses you of stuff you haven't done. He's still drinking. You're sober.
He's convinced that what?
He has convinced himself that I've cheated on him. And
Tina,
he's just convinced himself.
Tina,
so let me...
Go ahead, Sheri.
I just want to say there is something that's very wrong about this. First off, I'm smiling ear to ear because you're reminding me of when Jesus came and he saved Mary Magdalene and he came up to people. I love this. The Jeremiah 33 is God's phone number, basically, Jeremiah 333. And God says this, follow me, come to me, and I will tell you great and mighty things that you do not know. He is calling you, girl, and he is calling you away from some darkness. When somebody begins and comes to you and they're absolutely convinced that you've had, I've been sleeping with people, do you know the first place I start thinking? What is he doing? that he is projecting on you in order to cover up his own bad behavior. It's called a projection.
Right.
It makes no sense to us. So I would, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I'd probably give you my license that I worked very hard to get, and in telling you that I believe he's sexually betraying you. But he's putting it on you. So God is calling you out, girl. He's calling you away from the dark. Yeah. And I want you to read Jeremiah 33:3. Come to me, and I will tell you great and mighty things you don't know. Right. Come to me says stay connected with your church. Stay connected with your recovery group. Trust God to replace this relationship with a mighty man of God.
Yeah, the courage that you've used, just continue courageously doing the things that you need to do so that this person isn't the controlling force in your life. So, what does that mean? That means you have to replace all of that time and effort that you spent with him. You have to replace that with what? Good, strong, supportive women that will come alongside you and help you experience community that is transformational. That's what you have to do.
Tina,
transformational
that's
connection.
Amazing, because I have my Bible study group, and I have seven ladies that I've been working with every day and up to my baptism, and tonight is the follow-up.
And what are they telling you? What are they telling you about this? What are they telling you about this guy?
Because that they have to get him out of my life.
I know.
Well,
Look, we've all voted.
See?
The three of us,
Yeah.
so now we have a 10. Now 10, all of us,
Yeah.
all 10 of us. Steve,
Okay.
I would love your
It's like-
book. I would love your book, Take Your Life Back, for her, because you're right there, taking your life back.
I'm going to do two things. I'm going to send you a Life Recovery Bible, and I'll send you Take Your Life Back, Tina, because you are taking it back. But look, here's the thing. We get comfortable with something that's not great, and we think we have to have this thing we're comfortable with that's not great, when what God calls us to do, this is truly stepping out in faith, courageously, even though we're afraid, to say, I can't be with that anymore. And, I did these two programs, and you could go on YouTube and find them on limbo. Limbo isn't transition. It's like I'm in between, but I'm still stuck and anchored to the past. So I can't move on because I got this thing. And if it's a man, it's often an unhealthy woman. If it's a woman, it's often an unhealthy man. What a courageous thing when we say, I'm gonna do the right thing right now, no matter how uncomfortable it is. That's what courage is, It's doing what you need to do when you need to do it, no matter how you feel, no matter the consequences. Doesn't mean I got to wait till I'm not afraid anymore. No, courage is doing stuff while you are afraid. Do it afraid. That's what we say to people. Do it afraid. Anything you guys want to add to that? Yes, I've been a little preachy today because I sense the pain that people are going through, and I want them to have it. I want them get connected in healthy ways. And so many there have never been so many online support groups you could become part of, whether it's like a phone or Zoom or whatever. Never have there been so many therapists with time to talk to you on the phone or over video. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and we'll find it for you.
And Steve, you're so right that we have to be proactive in combating the loneliness, because when we're tempted in loneliness to go back to an unhealthy person who's available, it is very hard to fight that temptation. We often would rather have bad company than no company at all.
Yeah,
so that
right.
Tina's connected with this group of Bible study ladies. It's great when we can set up with them. I'm going to be lonely and I'm going to be tempted in these next few weeks. So will you be my support team? Can I go to you? Can I call you? And will you check in with me? So keep that up, Tina.
Connection. All right. If you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If we could help you, we'd love to. If you could help us, same thing, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I hope and pray that you will step into the incredibly astonishing world that God has for you. It's pretty amazing.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.